So this is going to be a TVT against computer, and we just want to stick to the basics. So make sure that we are macroing properly. So no macro will be required. So the game is loading up, and we are good to go in 3, 2, 1, 0. So you start with SCVs and they go mining. First thing is making a depot, because you're soon going to be supply blocked. 13 already. And so you create the first supply depot, and I scout with the other guy. So this is by the way, this is a first person recording, so this is my camera view as I was playing. Then afterwards I create a barracks, keep on creating SCVs, and I'm scouting. So on the way you want to see if you meet the enemy. So either the enemy is scouting, and if he is, you want to know if he's getting early or late. I can see that I didn't meet him, and I saw 2 racks in his base, 2 racks and a refinery. So that's pretty standard. No, not even a refinery. So 2 racks. So that means that 3 racks. So he wants to be aggressive, and so he's gonna make mass marines. So I'm finishing the wall, and I need to create a bunker. So I'm gonna use that SCV coming back to make the bunker. And if I have a tank protecting the entrance, I should be safe. So put a bunker here, and I will continue creating marines. So I only have 1 barrack, so he has 3. If I don't put a bunker, I will be killed. So I'll continue creating SCVs, and since I'm not building a base, I should soon make a supply depot. I usually should make a supply depot when you only have about 10 supply left. So be ahead by about 1 supply depot, because it takes a while to build. So all the marines, I'm gonna create these 4 marines and put them to the bunker, and I should be safe once I have the tank. So my supply depot is finished, and now I can make the secondary base, the first expansion, natural expansion. So I have my 4 marines, and the 5th marine will not fit in the bunker. So I put him a little bit behind. The factory should get a tech lab so that it can create marines. You don't have to research siege tanks, but you need to have a tech lab. I took the second refinery because now my units will require Vespine. Before it was only marines, and marines do not take any Vespine, but tanks do. Tanks take 100, and I also will want to upgrade my infantry. So all these upgrades would take Vespine. So it's time to take the second refinery. While my base is finishing up, again I want to make sure that you are 10 ahead in supply, so 37-47 is okay, but soon I should create a third depot. But in this case my command center is about to be finished, so this will provide the supply I need. I put my tank in the upper ground. It's still covering the entrance, but it will not be targetable from people on the lower ground unless they have vision. Once the supply depot is finished, I move a bunch of SUVs so that I redistribute the load. Should have a pretty balanced number of SUVs per base, and I made the starport. Starport in the beginning you want it for the medevac, or Vikings. But in this case, I know that he's gonna come with Marines, So I would like to heal my marines after the battle. So I make a medivac just for the healing, not for the drop. In this game, I'm not going to drop anything because I'm just doing the macro. Finally, I'm upgrading my barracks to tech lab so that I can research steam pack, and I also at the same time try to make more barracks. So it's going to be bio. It's going to be a lot of infantry. I did 1-1-1, so I did one barrack, one factory, one starport. That's a pretty standard build, which allows you to have a lot of flexibility because you have one type of each building, so you can create pretty much everything. But now I decided to go bio, so I need to create a few more barracks. Bio doesn't need too much Vespine, so I don't need to take the 4th Vespine at this time. But I would like to expand. So I have creating the 3rd base, which I'm gonna float to this extension just below. I also created 2 engineering base so that I can upgrade both weapons and armor infantry at the same time. But once you start the upgrade, you should also make the armory. Otherwise, armory takes a while to build, so otherwise you will be blocked after the first upgrade finishes. The other advantage of having engineering base is that you can upgrade your command center to a planetary fortress, which has extra hit points and has defense. So now that I have more production facilities, so I'm creating the armory now. I'm sometimes making 2 supply depots at a time. Now I have 20 ahead, so I'm slowing down a little bit in supply depot. But I need more barracks.
Command center upgrade complete.
More barracks. So yeah, I keep creating supply depot. At this stage, you should create supply depot continuously, as well as creating SUVs all the time. So now I'm taking the rest of my refineries because I want to have more tanks. So infantry by itself is not as good as infantry with some tanks. Well, it's kind of obvious, but tanks are really good in combination with infantry. Infantry with tank provide a buffer because tanks have to be have a certain range, otherwise they can't shoot. Units are too close, so the infantry will provide tank, and the tank will provide protection for the tanks, and the tanks can do damage from a distance. So actually I placed my refinery, my factory pretty badly because the tanks that's coming out of the factory is going to be blocked in the corner here, and you will see that in the while. In the meantime, I'm upgrading level 2 armory and weapons for infantry, and also armory for tanks. So tanks are not going to be well, they should be protected, but if you take damage, I want them to last. Usually their damage output is good enough, so you don't have to upgrade weapons first. And second advantage of upgrading armor for tanks is that it also works for air. The air upgrade for armor and air and ground units is shared. So you can see now my base has too many SUVs, that's 21. But since the goal here is to have the practice of creating SUVs, I don't stop. My tank is blocked here. You can see we saw the tank blocked, right? So I have to lift off the factory to let the tank go, and then relocate my factory somewhere else. Fortunately, I lift up both factories unnecessarily, and well, that's a little bit of time wasted. You can see that the enemy is coming. You saw some red dots in the nearby. but their first attack was met with tanks, and so they tried to rush Marines, and that didn't work because I scouted. If you don't scout, that's deadly. We're probably not gonna have enough to defend. Even with one bunker, without the tank, it would not be defendable. Okay, so finally I'm taking the level 3 weapons and armor, and my units will be ready max when this happens. So I'm floating a bit more, like 1000 minerals now, so not super good, but I'm getting supply, like max supply soon, so nothing much I can do. At this point I'm gonna attack get rid of some of these units. And also you see that I'm making extra command centers because I'm gonna start like claiming the map everywhere. So now I'm basically max supply, so the bank will pile up. Nothing you can do about this. And other than that, the bases are about proper supply. So 4 bases now is about what you can fill with SUVs, because that you have 16 SUVs per base for minerals, plus the 2 refineries. That's another extra 6. So you have 22 SUVs in a fully saturated base. If you have 4 bases, that makes it 88 supply, and you don't want to spend more than that in SUVs, otherwise your army will be too small. So he went, but I was siege before, so my tanks destroyed his tank. When you do an engagement, one of the good stuff to do, the best practice is not to get too focused on an engagement and forget about macro. So the rule of thumb for beginners is not to leave your camera on the battle for more than a couple of seconds. So you set up your battle, you engage, and then you pan away, because you always want to keep on creating new units, maybe upgrades, or in this case I'm taking another base here. So C# scan, because there's something on the upper ground. In SC2, you cannot attack units that are in the upper ground if you don't have vision. That's worth noting, because SC1 is not like that. And so I engage, and now I can take care of my base. I see that all the upgrades are done. I have combat shield. I had also concussive shell, so this time I didn't forget anything. And I'm just gonna go in the base and destroy the rest. You can see in the minimap that I'm keep creating bases and floating them around. So just for practice, I mean the game is really over now, but I just want to make sure that you have I have the habit of reproducing units. Alright, so there's another base here. I'm gonna float it and then create another base. I also research Liberator range, but it's not needed either. So yeah, his base is destroyed, and cleaning up. He must have another base, otherwise he would GG already. So deploying, redistributing more of these SCVs. Okay. He has a base on the left side. Putting some liberators on the south and some on the north. That means that he can't mine anymore. The computer would never mine in there. Would never put units under liberator range. So he GG's. Just gonna destroy everything just for completeness, I guess. Go around your base all the time. Here I noticed that my refineries are not used fully, and after a while, if you don't have command center, you don't have a base, then 30 seconds afterwards all your units will be, all your structures will be revealed, so that you can't just hide the building. All the buildings are destroyed, and it's game over. So that's it. This is